My name's Simon Holmes with ExxonMobil. I've been with the company for 25 years. The majority of that time has been in elastomers, and the biggest single market for elastomers is automotive. So I have a passion for the car and for the people who work in the car industry. ExxonMobil has been a leader in synthetic elastomers for over 50 years. And we've seen the growth of auto parts, particularly in Central and Eastern Europe recently, and obviously over in Asia, in places like Thailand and China. No doubt that the Middle East will be one of the next frontiers, and as we saw from Richard Crosby earlier, Saudi Arabia is extremely well located. But beyond the location, the skill sets and the commitment that the government's bringing to make this happen. So for those of you in the room who have not visited Saudi Arabia, I would encourage you to put it on your travel plans, and if not, to the excellent conference that will take place with the Royal Commission in Yanbu in March, then sooner. It's happening now, as you've heard from all of the speakers so far. Billions of dollars, many recognized global names are making Saudi Arabia their next stop. And ExxonMobil is expanding its facilities, and that's what we'll talk about as we go forward. Another map, I think you must have seen about 10 of them already. ExxonMobil operates joint ventures with Aramco and with SABIC on both the ports, and we are hosted by the Royal Commission, and we can bear testament to the excellent facilities and services we get there. But I guess the biggest testament to all is, are we prepared to put our money where our mouth is? And the answer is yes. We've been operating in Saudi Arabia for 30 years on these two sites. And not only have we reinvested, we've expanded and upgraded those facilities, we're now putting in another $3.5 billion with SABIC in building an elastomers facility. The joint venture that we have with SABIC is called Kimia, and we're very proud of it. One of the questions we had from the audience earlier was around quality. ExxonMobil and SABIC do not compromise on global standards. These plants operate at global standards, our global standards, be that safety, be that quality, be that productivity. So these plants are global plants, and they fit very well within the portfolio. As a former sales manager selling products, I would have customers say to me, which plant did this come from? Did it come from France? Did it come from Texas? Did it come from Saudi Arabia? And these products are absolutely interchangeable. They really are. So as I say, this is testament to the fact that the products that we're making and the facilities we're operating are equivalent to the best that we have in the world. We're running this with a local workforce, so you can see our development path. Yes, we started it up back in the 80s with a large number of expatriates to start it up, but increasingly they've been taken over. And as you saw from the speech from Mr. Al Rabia, the young Saudis are more than capable of running the consoles that look a little bit like Starship Enterprise. So this is a highly skilled workforce with the modern requirements of that. Safety, the safety record is down the bottom. It's a very low incident rate that we have in our staff there, and again, it's world class in everything we do. But the one thing I would say is about the partnerships. We've had the privilege of working with the Kingdom for 80 years. Exxon and Mobil individually, we were amongst those first pioneers 80 years ago that went into the oil industry of Saudi Arabia. And we're still there, and we're still working with our partners, be they the government or be they SABIC. And we see some smiling faces there, and I think even Mr. Al-Mahdi was enjoying that particular one. So it is about finding the right partner. And what we would say is that our partnerships in Saudi Arabia are extremely strong. We work to continue to grow them, and there are opportunities with many Saudi companies that would make good partners for you should you go over there. When we think about the car, again, there's been some pictures of the automotive. Elastomers are in it, bumper to bumper, or should I say in Detroit, fender to fender. It's all the way through it. So If we have the OEMs coming over, and the tier ones and the tier twos will follow, the elastomers is part of that. You know, there are 28 kilos of rubber materials used in a car. They go all the way through the weather seals, the grommets, the suspension bushes, the hoses, the belts. You know, it's all the black rubber parts that you see. And then, of course, not forgetting the tires too, which will add another 40 kilos of rubber to the car. So overall, a C or D class car will hold around about 68 kilos of rubber materials. When you buy a polypropylene, or you buy a polycarbonate or a polyamide, you're principally going to buy a pellet. It comes in a bag, you put it in your molding machine, and we're good to go. Rubber is much more complex than that. It's an industry by itself. You buy the rubber, be it natural rubber or synthetic rubber, and you then have to add another dozen ingredients to it in order to formulate a rubber compound with the correct compression set, the correct elasticity and hardness for the individual component. And this is a key part that we've seen issues with as the automotive industry has moved around the world. We've seen parts suppliers want to go to Poland, want to go to Czechia, and they say, well, I'm going to set up my extrusion plant to make the weather seals, but where do I get the compound? This plant will not be big enough to start off serving 100,000 build to have a mixing plant. I need a local mixer who can provide me the quality that I need. And he's not there today. So there's a real stumbling block as the tier ones and tier twos try to follow the OEMs in the rubber industry. So this is an area that ExxonMobil and SABIC are working really hard on to make sure that the mixing facility is established early, and that the mixing facility is at a truly global scale and quality. So that as the OEMs come, and as the tier one, tier two rubber producers come, their biggest obstacle of where do I get a quality compound from will have been resolved. And then some of the other facilities out there again, whether it be power, whether it be water, whether it be schools, all the other enablers will be there to join them. The materials, the technology is nothing without the people. We've spoken about that. The rubber industry is a vocation. People join the rubber industry as boys and they leave 30, 40 years later. It is one of those. And many people say it's a black art, literally and physically, in terms of trying to understand how rubber compounds work. So when we think of rubber and you go around the world, there is one place that is truly famous for rubber, and that's Ohio, and that's Akron. It's got 40, 50 years of rubber history there. So when trying to build a rubber industry to serve the automotive industry, we said, let's go to Akron. So SABIC, ExxonMobil, together with the TVTC, the Vocational Training Corporation of Saudi Arabia, we went to Akron. And we engaged the Akron University and basically had them design for us a special course to develop engineers for the rubber industry, technicians for the rubber industry. A number of Saudi teachers, trainers, went over and spent up to 2 years in Akron being trained, and now they've gone home again and they're running the HAEI Center in Yanbu, together with several Akron professors who oversee that course. The course is up and running. The first students are in place. They started in September. I'm glad to say they're still all there in May, June, and they will be graduating, and I use the word graduating, with an Akron University certificate in 2015 to start feeding into the industry. So rubber for cars in Saudi Arabia, it's not just about the polymer. That's probably one of the easy bits. SABIC and ExxonMobil will be bringing that polymer, not just the EPDM, which is the primary material we saw there, but also PBR, SBR, the halobutyl, which is a key component of the tire inner liner for inflation pressure retention, but also carbon black, because the rubber is nothing without the carbon black, and not surprisingly, the process oil is already in Kingdom. So when we start to look at that, we've got all the raw materials we need. We're working on putting the mixing in, which will enable it. We talked about the workforce. There's technical support. The global companies will provide it globally. SABIC are putting in their application center. HIEI, our vocational center, has got tire building machines. It's got calendars, it's extruders, it's molding. It really is being set up as a research facility as well as a training facility. And then we've talked about the facilities of the specialized industry parks and the Royal Commission, which will allow fast and hopefully cost-effective setting up of these projects. Okay, so thank you very much, and